What would you do if you found out the childhood friend who constantly teases you is actually the most popular idol in school? Or even crazier, two rival brothers who constantly fight over everything suddenly fall for the exact same girl. Welcome to First Love 2025. This movie captures every single flavor of high school romance. It brings you the sweet moments, the heartbreak, and plenty of crazy plot twists that will leave you completely shocked. Keep watching because these 6 love stories are going to keep you on the edge of your seat. Let's get right into it. The story begins in a beautiful seaside city. Bong-hee is enjoying the fresh air when her best friend Min-in calls with a warning. If she doesn't get to school fast, she'll be stuck cleaning toilets for a week. Panicked, Bong-hee sprints off, hoping to make it in time. Meanwhile, an idol named Lee Pan is heading to the same school in a van, briefed by his manager on their arrival. As the bell rings, Min-in and their friend Jien worry about Bong-hee's absence. Luckily, she bursts in just in time, and the three manage to touch up their makeup before class starts. The hallway suddenly erupts in cheers for Baram, the leader of the idol group Summer Boys, known by his stage name, Blue. His charm and good looks draw a massive crowd of girls, everyone thrilled to see him back on campus after a long hiatus. Naturally, Bong-hee's 2 friends are hardcore members of the Summer Boys fan club and are completely starstruck. As they swoon over Blue, Bong-hee has to drag them back to reality, reminding them of the mountain of homework waiting for them. Even inside the classroom, Baram is swamped by students desperate for photos since he hasn't been seen in over a month. Not everyone is impressed though. A girl named Bitna thinks the hype is overkill and asks Bong-hee for her opinion. Since Bong-hee is a known fan of a rival group called Foxic, she quickly claims Blue is nothing compared to her favorites. Their debate is cut short when the teacher arrives to take attendance. She gives Baram a light scolding for his frequent absences and announces an upcoming field trip. Since Christmas is near, she also reveals a secret angel game where everyone must look after a classmate for a week. During Japanese class, Baram unexpectedly asks to join the session, even though he isn't enrolled in the course. The class is stunned, but the teacher eventually gives in. He takes a seat next to Bong-hee and asks why she's pretending not to know him. It turns out they've been best friends since childhood, but Bong-hee hides it to avoid being harassed by his obsessed fans. Baram can't resist teasing her about her eyebrows, leading Bong-hee to demand he keep acting like they are strangers. During the break, the fans swarm Baram again until the class president rescues him, claiming the teacher needs to see him. Once they are clear, Baram assumes the president is his secret angel and gifts him some candy. The president reminds him about the field trip, urging him to come since it's their last trip as students. Later, in his van, Baram tells his manager he wants to finish dance practice early. When the manager asks if he has a crush at school, Baram playfully claims he just loves the school and the beach. Meanwhile, the girls are buzzing about a mysterious fan named Chocobong, who once saved Baram during a performance. Bong-hee acts completely indifferent, maintaining her reputation as a hater of the group. As the school plays a Summer Boys song about first love, Bong-hee accidentally bumps into Baram while carrying a load of supplies. He kindly helps her, a scene that leaves their classmates in total shock. Before she can process it, Bitna reminds her to stay loyal to Foxic and keep promoting their group. At lunch, the gossip continues, with friends marveling at how Bong-hee stayed so calm. When she notices Baram staring at her, she gets flustered and starts choking on her food. Without a second thought, Baram hands her his drink, causing the cafeteria to erupt and Bong-hee's face to turn bright red. Her friends joke that she's turning into a stalker fan. Due to his busy schedule, Baram asks for permission to leave school early. Before going, he gives Bong-hee a long, sweet look. Later, while she's getting a drink of water, Baram suddenly appears right in front of her. Thinking he might be her secret angel, she asks him directly, but he denies it. She tells him to stop causing scenes like the one in the cafeteria because she hates being the center of attention. Baram mentions he wants to go on the field trip, but she just teases him for being a coward. During a late-night study session, Bong-hee finds herself daydreaming about Baram. Bitna checks the results of a music poll and is devastated that Summer Boys won. Suspecting Bong-hee didn't vote for Foxic, Bitna tries to grab her phone. Bong-hee reacts defensively, fueling Bitna's suspicion that she's switched sides. Bitna starts insulting Summer Boys, calling them a small company group and mocking Blue's appearance. Bong-hee finally snaps, shouting in Baram's defense. Her friends are stunned by how much she seems to know about him. Cornered, Bong-hee leads her 3 friends to her locker. While the outside is covered in Foxic posters, the inside is a shrine to Summer Boys. She finally confesses the truth. She and Baram have been close since they were kids. She used to protect him from bullies and even taught him how to dance. The girls are speechless. Bong-hee begs them to keep her fandom a secret from Baram, and they agree, on the condition him that she gives them some of her rare idol merchandise. Meanwhile, Bahram is practicing his choreography relentlessly. He tells his manager he wants to take the ferry with his classmates, but the trip is suddenly in jeopardy due to a 30% chance of rain. The students pray for clear skies, and Bahram insists on going despite his manager's warnings. Unfortunately, the rain ruins their plans, and the trip is cancelled. Seeing Bahram looking down, Bong-hee approaches him. He admits he's exhausted from faking smiles for the public. To comfort him, she tells a story about a girl who created an alter ego named Sophie to protect her true self while performing. Bahram tells Bong-hee he hopes she never changes and wants her by his side forever. Flustered, she tries to leave, but he stops her to ask if he should join a virtual dating show. The question leaves her completely speechless. Later, while studying, Bong-hee's friends find dating rumors about Blue trending online. The internet is flooded with hate comments and fans threatening to leave the fandom. Bahram is devastated and asks his manager to have the company clarify that he was only saying hello to a colleague. However, the manager tells him they have to wait and warns that he might have to transfer schools or take a long hiatus. After getting a message from her mom about how worried Bahram's mother is, Bong-hee rushes out to find him. She finds him at an arcade, and they spend a happy afternoon together. When she learns the rumors are fake, her relief is obvious, and Bahram teases her for being jealous. Spotting someone watching them, he pulls her to the beach. Under a sky full of fireworks, they hold hands and reminisce. Bahram asks her to be his official fan, knowing she is the one person who will never change. But Bong-hee avoids the topic again. Back at home, Bong-hee can't stop thinking about him. She digs into the dating rumors and discovers that Foxic fans faked the photos to ruin his reputation. She quickly gathers evidence and leaks the truth online, clearing his name. The hashtag #InnocentBlue hits #1. The fandom celebrates, credited the save to the mysterious Choco Bong. Bahram goes to the school to find Bong-hee, eventually waiting by her locker. She runs to stop him before he sees her secret shrine, but she ends up tripping and falling into his arms. After a long, romantic gaze, he reveals he's there to give her a birthday gift. He's leaving for overseas work and won't be back for the rest of the year, meaning he's dropping out of school. Bong-hee is heartbroken, worried he'll lose his fans. She asks him who his first love is, but when he leans in close, she gets nervous and backs away. After he leaves, Bong-hee opens her gift to find a detailed first love report Bahram prepared long ago. It's a confession that she has been his first love since they were children. He asks her to be his girlfriend and reveals a video he posted online thanking his biggest supporter. It turns out he knew all along. Bong-hee is Choco Ball. As Bahram heads to the airport, his manager gives him a moment for one last goodbye. While the other students are mourning the loss of their idol, Bong-hee realizes she can't let him go. She sprints through the school and manages to catch him. With her friends cheering her on, she finally confesses her feelings. Bahram smiles, happy that his biggest fan and his first love are finally one and the same. Hana lives a double life, hiding her reality to protect her pride. She lives with her intellectually disabled mother in a small home, yet at school she is the top student, admired by teachers and peers alike. However, her perfection breeds envy, especially in her rival, Hyeji. During an exam, Hyeji intentionally bumps into Hana, snatching her paper before she can finish. The situation escalates in front of the teacher, where it is revealed Hana used a pencil, which is a violation of the rules. Hyeji gloats, thrilled to see Hana lose her top spot, and mocks her humble background. The tension leads to a confrontation that lands them both in the office. To settle the conflict and help Hana secure a much-needed scholarship, the teacher suggests she act as a student guide for an exchange student from Japan. Hana has no idea that this boy, Kaito, is about to change everything. Hana accepts the role of guiding Kaito to ensure her scholarship. They quickly hit it off, and Hana takes him on a tour of the school, following his every move. Eventually, she hands him off to the vice president of the class, and the two boys become fast friends. That night, after getting directions to the station, Kaito heads out while chatting with his best friend back in Japan. Distracted, he accidentally bumps into a woman, knocking her belongings into the sand. He frantically apologizes and promises to help her find what she lost. Meanwhile, Hana receives a panicked phone call and rushes to the station, praying nothing is wrong. It turns out the woman Kaito bumped into is Hana's mother. The poor woman is frozen in place, refusing to move until she finds a dropped bracelet, causing a scene. Kaito realizes this is his guide's mother, just as Hana arrives to pull her away. Frustrated and embarrassed, Hana scolds her mother for trying to buy her hairpins they cannot afford. Her mother, despite her disability, deeply loves her daughter and explains she only wanted to buy Hana something nice. Hana softens, explaining how difficult their lives are, and begging her mother not to wander alone where people might look down on her. Her mother breaks down, crying that she is a mother, not just a person with a disability. Heartbroken and helpless, Hana pulls her mother into a tearful embrace. The next morning, rumors are already flying. Haiji and her friends have a photo of Hana hugging someone on the street from the night before. Since it was taken from behind, they assume she is dating an older man and start spreading rumors. When Hana enters the room, she decides to lean into the lie to protect her mother's identity, threatening to report them if they do not delete the photo. Later, she begs Kato to keep her secret. He agrees, but on one condition: she must help him find his mother's lost coin. Though she thinks it is impossible, it turns out to be one of his top goals for his trip to Korea. When he actually finds it, Hana is stunned. This coin and the bracelet hold deep, painful memories for her family, but seeing Kaito's kindness makes her realize he is a truly good person. Kaito later asks Haiji to help him take a photo with an idol, which sparks a flicker of jealousy in Hana. When Haiji offers to take him to a film set, Kaito insists on going with Hana instead. Haiji is annoyed, but secretly hopes Hana falls for him, so she will get distracted and fail her finals. During their time together, Kaito sees through Hana's tough exterior. Admiring her resilience, he invites her to hang a lovelock with him, where she shares her dream of becoming a doctor to provide for her mother. Kaito calls her his Wonder Woman. She tells him the story of the lucky coin, how her father flipped it to find a girlfriend, and it landed in front of her mother. He saw it as destiny, but Hana sees it as the start of her struggles. Hana finds herself falling for Kaito, even daydreaming about him during class. She starts putting more effort into her appearance, letting her hair down for the first time. One rainy morning, her mother rushes out to give her an umbrella, but Hana quickly sends her home to avoid being seen. Unfortunately, Hiji catches the interaction on camera and discovers the truth about Hana's mother, Hiji's own mother. Bitter that Hana is doing better than her daughter, scolds Hiji and compares her to her more successful sister. Back at school, Kaito compliments Hana's new look and gives her a lucky charm, wishing her success and inviting her to Japan. But the piece is shattered when Hiji exposes Hana's secret to the entire class. She mocks Hana for being ashamed of her mother and calls her a liar for the fake boyfriend story. Just as Hana is about to break down, Kaito steps in and announces that he is her boyfriend. The shock and stress are too much for Hana, and she collapses from a fainting spell. At the hospital, she wakes to find her mother crying. Even in her weakened state, Hana remains strong, comforting her mother and promising she will be okay. At school, the gossip continues. Hiji refuses to believe they are dating and tries to convince Kaito that Hana is too selfish for him. Another student, S, finally snaps and calls Heiji out for her obsession with ruining Hana's life. Hiji remains unrepentant, claiming she is just helping Hana face the truth. Meanwhile, Hana stays home for 4 days. Her friends want to reach out but worry about overstepping. Eventually, they decide to send her supportive messages. Kaito finds her at a library and follows her home, but Hana confronts him, asking if he only claimed to be her boyfriend out of pity. Kaito gently explains he just wanted to protect her. Hana confesses that she has always lived in a personal hell, ashamed of her mother and resentful of her father for leaving them. She tells him she hates the lucky coin that brought her parents together. Kaito comforts her, telling her she is the strongest person he knows. Encouraged by her friend's messages, Hana returns to school. Kaito meets her at her house to walk her there, using a little charm to make sure she does not refuse. He tries to cheer her up by suggesting a couple's photo shoot, but the mood shifts when a girl named Mitsuha calls his phone. Recalling a wish Kaito made for Mitsuha, Hana assumes he has a girlfriend back home and is just playing with her. Angry and hurt, she tells him that spending time with him will make her fail her exams and begins to avoid him entirely. Heartbroken, Kaito seeks advice from Mitsuha, who turns out to be a friend helping him with his bucket list. She encourages him to confess his feelings, but he's afraid of distracting Hana from her studies. As the exchange program nears its end, the two are still distant. Hana is torn between her feelings and her confusion over his girlfriend. It is only when Heiji accidentally reveals that Kaito's bucket list was actually for a sick friend back home that Hana realizes her mistake. She rushes to find him. Kaito thanks her for helping him complete the list, but both are too hesitant to voice their true feelings. They part ways with words left unsaid. Later, reading a letter Ko left behind, Hana bursts into tears. He tells her he will be waiting for her in Japan, hoping she makes it into her dream university and finds her way back to him. In love, there are no lead characters or supporting roles, but if the person you like loves someone else, you become the extra in your own story. The scene opens in a classroom where the teacher is presenting an award to Ja, the basketball captain who secured 3rd place in the National High School Championships. Amidst the cheers, our protagonist, Hyun-gu, wanders in late. The teacher pulls him aside, frustrated that a former star student has been missing classes and skipping midterms. She senses a deep burden behind his rebellion, but she feels powerless to help. Out in the hallway, the school goddess, Bitna, slips and falls, but a student named Zihao catches her just in time. While the other girls squeal in excitement, Hyungu watches with a heavy heart. He has harbored a secret crush on Bitna for a long time, mesmerized by her every move. She is the only reason he shows up to school, yet he remains a silent satellite orbiting her world, never brave enough to land. When Hyungu finds himself short on bus fare, Bitna kindly pays for him, making his heart flutter. However, her heart belongs to Zihao, a transfer student from China and a basketball idol. Hyungu's resentment grows. During a practice session, he intentionally bumps into Zihao, causing a fall. The two nearly come to blows until Bitna intervenes. Scolding Hyungu for being petty and insecure, she helps the limping Zihao walk away, leaving Hyungu to watch in agony. Alone with his music, he tries to drown out her harsh words. Tensions at home are just as high. His mother is disappointed in his grades, and the atmosphere becomes suffocating when Zihao arrives. A year ago, Hyungu's father brought Zihao home, explaining that the boy's mother had passed away in China. Since then, Hyungu's peaceful life has been turned upside down. His parents argue constantly, and he cannot accept this half-brother living under his roof. Zihao is perfect. He wins trophies, never complains, and is loved by everyone from the teachers to Hyungu's own younger brother. To Hyungu, it feels like Zihao has stolen everything and everyone he cares about. A slap from his father only deepens his hatred. Hyungu pours his frustration into training, desperate to defeat Zihao on the court. When Zihao tries to make peace and asks him not to upset their mother, Hyungu snaps, refusing to let Zihao call her mother. To clear his head, he heads to the beach. He spots Bitna, and an older student notices his longing gaze. Encouraged to confess his feelings, Hyungu decides to perform a DJ set at school, hoping his cool side will finally win her over. Meanwhile, Zihao is struggling with his own loneliness. Bitna, noticing his mood, invites him to play basketball to cheer him up. During a walk, they stop at a small stall where Zihao buys her a hairpin. The next day, she proudly shows it off to her friends. When a classmate tells Zihao that Hyungu likes Bitna, Zihao feels conflicted and surprised. Later, the hairpin falls off in the yard. Seeing Bitna looking distressed, Hyungu rushes out to find it. He carefully cleans the dirt off the accessory and places it on her desk. Her warm smile and thank you mean the world to him, a small moment he treasures deeply. During break, Bitna leads Zihao to the rooftop to ask why he hasn't confessed to her yet. However, knowing how Hyungu feels, Zihao rejects her. He tells her he only sees her as a friend and claims the gift was just a secret Santa gesture. Humiliated, Bitna storms off, but rumors of her rejection spread like wildfire. When people whisper about her, she takes her anger out on Hyungu, calling him a nuisance. He is left heartbroken, bearing the brunt of her misplaced rage. Tensions boil over when Hyungu sees Zihao posting photos of his younger brother online. He demands the photos be deleted with harsh words, leading to a violent brawl between the brothers. In the teacher's office, the truth is finally outed to the school. They are half-brothers. The student's judgment shifts to pity for Hyungu, while Bitna remains stubbornly devoted to Zihao. At home, the family is at a breaking point. Hyungu overhears his mother admitting she told Zihao to transfer schools to save her own son's reputation. Their father intervenes, taking both boys out for a meal. For the first time, he asks them about their pain. He shows genuine interest in Hyungu's DJing, praising his talent. He apologizes for not giving them a better life and begs them not to live with the hatred of adults. This heart-to-heart finally begins to melt the ice between the brothers. During the next practice, Hyungu plays brilliantly, earning the crowd's respect. Even Bitna praises him, though she selfishly asks him to talk her up to Zihao. Hyungu agrees, finally deciding to let her go. He realizes that even though he never officially confessed, the journey taught him how to grow. His peace is interrupted on the rooftop by a group of bullies who mock his victory and insult his family. When the leader makes a vulgar comment about his father's past, Hyungu explodes. He is outnumbered and taking a beating until Zihao jumps in to save him. The two fight side by side, leaving the bullies in a heap. Bystanders are shocked to see the rivals now acting like a united front. In the end, Hyungu finally calls Zihao brother and tells him not to transfer. He is touched to find that Zihao has actually been researching DJing to support him. When Bitna calls, Zihao hesitates, but Hyungu gives him his blessing, proving he has truly moved on. The two brothers finally enjoy a carefree day at the beach. If the success rate of first love is 50% globally, it feels even slimmer in the chaotic world of high school. But these two found something more lasting than a crush, a brotherhood. Jian is busy drafting her latest novel while harboring a secret crush of her own. While daydreaming about a romantic scene with her longtime crush, Tae Hwang, she sees a post about someone someone finding his lost keychain. She grabs the item, planning to return it to him in class, but her classmate Sunwoo suddenly appears and starts teasing her. He asks if she has a thing for Tae-hwang, sending her into a flustered panic as she desperately denies it. During auditions for a school play, Jian desperately hopes to be paired with Tae-hwang. Unfortunately, his acting is painfully bad, leaving everyone underwhelmed. Bong-hee remembers that Sunwoo has acting experience and suggests he give it a try. To everyone's surprise, Sunwoo delivers a brilliant performance and wins the role. Jian is secretly devastated. Sunwoo tries to act friendly about their partnership, but she avoids him and accidentally drops her wallet. Panicked that he might find proof of her crush inside, she demands it back. Sunwoo teases her by holding it out of reach until it gets stuck high in a tree. He eventually lets her climb onto his shoulders to retrieve it, but they are caught in this compromising position by Tae-hwang. Their classmates rush over, questioning if they are dating, but a teacher arrives just in time to break up the crowd. Now that Sunwoo knows her secret, he threatens to tell Tae-hwang. Jian begs him to stay quiet, promising to do whatever he asks. While she grumbles about him being a jerk, Sunwoo summons her to meet him in 20 minutes. Even though she is late, he lets it slide. She realizes he is actually a big animal lover, a trait she finds endearing since she loves cute things too. She eventually opens up about why she likes Tae-hwang, explaining that his carefree and free-spirited nature is what originally captured her heart. The school is soon buzzing with rumors that Sunwoo and Jian are a couple. Jian worries that Tae-hwang will start avoiding her, while Sunwoo remains unfazed. While their friends tease them, Sunwoo hands her a list of chores for the day. Jian vents her frustration privately, but later finds herself rushing to the cafeteria to bring him a cake. In a daydream, she imagines Sunwoo complaining about her being slow and announcing her crush to the whole school. In the dream, Tae-hwang steps forward and coldly rejects her, saying he dislikes slow people. She snaps out of it, relieved it was only a nightmare. Jian eventually brings snacks to Sunwoo, who teases her for being slow, but invites her to eat. She is too annoyed to enjoy it, but Sunwoo finds her reaction so entertaining that he cannot stop teasing her. In retaliation, she edits the script of the play to ensure his character gets roughed up and humiliated in every scene, forcing him to endure it for the sake of the performance. On her way home, Jian stops by a veterinary clinic to play with the puppies, venting her frustrations about a certain annoying guy. She is shocked to find Sunwoo standing right behind her. It turns out the clinic belongs to his father. Sunwoo offers a sincere apology and promises to stop treating her like an errand girl. He even offers to help her get closer to Tae-hwang. Knowing she loves pets, he invites her to stay and play, and she finally forgives him. He even snaps some photos of her. To help her impress Tae-hwang, he spends the afternoon teaching her about soccer. She returns the favor by making him her favorite drink, and they bond until the sun sets. As they talk, Jian wonders if Tae-hwang will ever actually like her. She admits she feels insecure because people call her slow and clumsy, and even her mother thinks no one will read her stories. Sunwoo comforts her, explaining that he only teases her because she is adorable. He encourages her to post her writing online and be more confident. They realize that while Jian acts cheerful, she carries a lot of self-doubt, and while Sunwoo acts like a pest, he is actually incredibly warm. This newfound bond makes their chemistry on stage during rehearsals absolutely perfect. To celebrate their progress, the group orders spicy rice cakes. When Jian yawns, her friends ask if she stayed up all night. She reveals she was watching Euro 2024, leaving her friends shocked. Tae-hwang is impressed by her soccer knowledge, but Sunwoo is visibly annoyed. Tae-hwang challenges Sunwoo to a spicy food contest, which Sunwoo wins, though both end up in pain. Jian brings them ice cream to help, but the mix of spice and cold sends both boys sprinting to the infirmary. Jian falls asleep by Tae-hwang's bedside, out of worry. Sunwoo wakes up and sees this, feeling a pang of jealousy. Later, Tae-hwang approaches Jian and asks her to play video games with him. When she hesitates, he mentions that Sunwoo is coming along, so she agrees. Tae-hwang tells Sunwoo he finds Jian interesting and begs him to come along. Sunwoo warns him that she is innocent and not someone to be toyed with, but he eventually agrees to go. To prepare, Jian asks Sunwoo for advice, and he tells her to just be herself, rather than trying to fit a mold. Sunwoo realizes he is losing control over his feelings for Jian. He runs into her later and finds her upset. It turns out she tried to buy a high-level gaming account for 200,000 won to impress Tae-hwang, but got scammed. Sunwoo scolds her for being reckless, but eventually hands her his own game account to use, telling her that Tae-hwang already likes her. When the school hosts a couple's photo booth contest, Tae-hwang asks Jian to participate. He tells his friends he finds her interesting, though he stopped short of saying he likes her. Sunwoo overhears Tae-hwang acting arrogant about about how Jiyeon could never refuse him. On the day of the contest, Taewon and Jiyeon pose together while the crowd cheers. Sunwoo stands alone, watching them with a heavy heart. Jiyeon catches his eye and feels a strange tension. Sunwoo realizes he has fallen for her, but it was his own help that pushed her toward Taewon. Jiyeon looks at her photo with Taewon and realizes she isn't happy, even though she is with her crush. When she sees Sunwoo taking a photo with another girl, she feels a sharp sting of jealousy. She confesses to Bong-hee that while she liked Taewon first, she is now confused by her feelings for Sunwoo. Bong-hee advises her to look at who actually makes her happy. Sunwoo's photo with the mysterious girl goes viral and wins first place. Taewon offers to collect the prize since he wants an excuse to see Jiyeon. He finds her and asks her out, but Jiyeon admits her feelings for him have faded. Taewon tries to save face by claiming he was only curious about her and wasn't really falling for her anyway. Jiyeon and Sunwoo continue to ignore each other despite their mutual feelings. Jiyeon throws herself into her writing and her novel becomes a huge success. When Taewon makes a dismissive comment about Jiyeon being slow and shy, Sunwoo snaps at him, defending her honor. His reaction makes it obvious to everyone that he likes her. Taewon eventually encourages Sunwoo to confess, revealing that Jiyeon already rejected him. While Jiyeon is out with friends, a girl approaches her. It turns out to be Sunwoo's sister, not a girlfriend. She tells Jiyeon that Sunwoo has shown her many photos of her and calls her beautiful. Encouraged by her friends, Jiyeon goes to find Sunwoo. When they meet, she confesses that she is no longer interested in Taewon and was jealous of his sister. She begs him to stop avoiding her. Sunwoo admits he has been struggling with his feelings too, and they finally share a happy embrace. It is revealed that Sunwoo was so desperate to hide his jealousy earlier that he actually paid his sister a generous fee to pose as his girlfriend for the photo contest. First love isn't necessarily the first person you like, but the first person you truly want to love. While previous stories focused on mischievous classmates, this time we dive into a different kind of romance. My first love was a student teacher, a firecracker who commanded the dance floor at the local club. In her form-fitting dress, she moved with a fierce confidence that left the crowd roaring. Little did she know, she was also the star of a certain boy's dreams. Watching his peaceful, dazed expression, you can probably guess what happens next. Philip jolts awake, only for his mother to burst into the bathroom. Sensing exactly what her son is going through, she quickly shuts the door to let him handle his business in private. At breakfast, his parents tease him about finally becoming a man, leaving Philip blushing like a toddler. At school, his best friends, Taewon and Sunwoo, don't let him hear the end of it either. Enter the new student teacher, Lola. She teaches literature, but her real dream is to become a self-made millionaire. She runs a vlog sharing her life, filming wherever she goes. Rumors of a stunning new teacher spread like wildfire, and the boys are desperate to meet her. Taewon even bets he can get her number. When Lola finally walks in, the class is stunned. She radiates a pure, white moonlight energy that feels like a dream come true. Philip is instantly smitten, staring at her as if he has found his soulmate. To get closer to her, he signs up for a private counseling session and spends his nights researching how to impress her. Philip discovers Lola's vlogs and obsessively takes notes on her ideal type. His mother catches him mid-watch, awkwardly offering him premium tissues while hinting she knows what he is up to. The next day, Philip is on a mission. He starts doing push-ups in the living room, ignoring his sister's confused stares. Remembering Lola said she likes guys who can handle spicy food, he douses his meal in hot sauce despite his low tolerance. The result is a coughing fit at the dinner table. He isn't the only one trying too hard though. All the boys in class are suddenly hitting the gym to look buff for their one-on-one meetings with her. When it is finally Philip's turn to sit across from his goddess, he completely freezes. Lola starts the session, but he gives vague, rambling answers. Thinking he has no real questions, she tells him he can go. As he leaves, she playfully grabs his hand, sending a bolt of electricity through him. She laughs, calling him charming and telling him that if he stays natural, he will be very popular. Philip floats out of the room as if he is drunk on happiness, leaving his friends totally baffled. Later, Lola brings snacks to the class during their practice session. Philip, desperate to impress, stuffs his face with spicy rice cakes, even though they are burning his throat. When she asks if he is okay, he insists he loves spicy food while secretly dying inside. Sensing his distress, Lola follows him out to check on him. Her voice sounds like music to his ears as she encourages him not to worry too much about the future. Her sweet smile gives him a massive boost of energy, and he vows to take his studies seriously from that moment on. One day, Philip hears Lola is at the dance studio and ditches his friends to find her. He peeks through the door, mesmerized by her moves. As a former idol trainee, she offers to teach the dance club, and the students are hooked. However, Philip isn't the only one watching. A classmate named Jinho, who is bitter about failing to get Lola's number, records a video of her dancing suggestively, planning to use it as blackmail. He confronts her with the footage, but Lola stands her ground, threatening to call his parents. Jinho backs off for the moment, but his ego is bruised. Lola later vents to a friend about the struggles of teaching. She sends Jinho's photo to a local bar to make sure he is blacklisted. When she hears Jinho is actually inside a club, she rushes there to stop him. Jinho insults her, telling her to stop acting like a teacher when she is just a trainee. He is rude and aggressive until Philip and his friends step in. Philip demands Jinho show some respect, and luckily the club security kicks Jinho out. Lola thanks Philip for having her back, and his heart swells with pride. The next day, Philip looks like he wants to tear Jinho apart. While in the restroom with his friends, they run into Jinho, who is still fuming after being mocked by other students. He threatens to leak the dance video to the school group chat. Philip manages to snatch the phone and runs, but Jinho catches him and starts a brutal fight. When Sunwoo and Taehyung pull them apart, the phone lands at Lola's feet. She looks at the screen in disbelief. With a voice like steel, she warns Jinho that filming and distributing such media can lead to 5 years in prison or a massive fine. Terrified by the legal reality, Jinho finally deletes the video. Despite the trouble he caused, Lola feels bad seeing Jinho's bruises. As she tends to his wounds, Philip watches, touched by her kindness. However, the piece is short-lived. A photo of Lola and Philip in a compromising angle, likely snapped by Jinho, goes viral across the school. The administration is in an uproar. Lola insists she was just helping a student, but the principal is forced to take action. Philip feels terrible that his presence caused her so much trouble, especially since this scandal could prevent her from graduating. Angry parents swarm the school, demanding Lola be fired for her unbecoming behavior at the club. The principal tries to defend her, asking for empathy, but the parents are relentless. They even claim she has been threatening students. While the class worries for their teacher, Jinho sits back and enjoys the show. Eventually, the students turn on Jinho, choosing to believe Philip instead. Feeling the heat from the entire class, Jinho storms out in a rage. Philip offers to testify against Jinho to clear Lola's name, but she stops him. She doesn't want Jinho to end up with a criminal record just because of her. Philip argues that she is giving up her own dreams, but Lola has already made her choice. She decides to resign on her own terms. Despite the short time she spent there, she felt the genuine love of the students and realized what she truly wants in life. She leaves with no regrets. Taehyung breaks the news of her resignation to the class. When Philip finds out Jinho got off scot-free, he loses his cool and punches him. He screams at Jinho, revealing that the only reason he wasn't sued was because Lola wanted to protect his future. Stunned by her selflessness, Jinho finally goes silent. On her last day, Lola gives a small gift and a personal note to every student, encouraging them to cherish their youth. Philip delivers Lola's final message to Jinho, an apology for her own shortcomings as a teacher and a hope that they can smile when they meet again. Reading her words, Jinho is finally moved to tears. As Lola leaves, the entire school rushes out to say goodbye. Philip's first love may not have ended in a fairy tale romance, but it gave him a new perspective on life. He watches her drive away, grateful for the brief, beautiful spark she brought to his world. On a stormy summer day, lightning flashes outside as the students whisper about the recent power outages at school. Rumors are swirling that the strange occurrences might be the work of the infamous ghost lady. The Zihao brothers huddle together in fear. Suddenly, Taehyung walks in with a deadpan expression, giving everyone a good scare. He tells a chilling story about a ghost wandering the hallways, leaving the class on edge. He dares anyone who does not believe him to go check it out, assuming they have the guts for it. With an eerie smirk, he leaves the room. A loud crack of thunder shakes the building. At that moment, Ina pops her head out from a corner, continuing the creepy tale. She finishes with a sinister laugh, but Dong-sung quickly shuts her up by smacking her over the head with a pillow. As it is time to head home, Dong-sung realizes he left his phone in the classroom. He asks for company, but everyone immediately makes up excuses to avoid going back. He grumbles about Greg, Ina filling their heads with scary stories when another thunderclap makes him jump. Terrified, he sprints back to the classroom. He grabs his phone and tries to calm his racing heart, but things quickly take a spooky turn. He hears a creaking sound, then footsteps, and finally, a voice calling out to him. Slowly, he turns around. The sight is too much for his nerves, and he passes out cold. Soon after, he wakes up being dragged on a utility cart. The shadowy figure leans over and asks if he is faking it, snaps a quick photo, and walks away. Mortified by his own cowardice, Dong-sung stays down. Later, he runs into the mysterious cart driver, who turns out to be Ina. He takes a picture to show her his current miserable state, but she fires back by showing him the embarrassing photo of him passed out on the cart. Dong-sung angrily blames her for scaring him. In return, In-ah yells at him for spilling her drink earlier and causing her to get a nosebleed. The two bicker relentlessly, refusing to back down. Finally, a frustrated In-ah calls him a jerk and storms off. Dong-sung fumes silently, annoyed because he had not even touched her. Walking outside, he spots the two friends who had abandoned him earlier. They reveal that In-ah was the one who called them for help when he fainted, adding that she had been crying her eyes out of worry for him. As they talk, Dong-sung gets an eerie feeling that someone is watching him, but he sees no one when he turns around. Later that night at home, he cannot stop thinking about Brot, In-ah crying over him. Meanwhile, In-ah is still weeping in her own room. She feels betrayed, remembering how he held her hand tightly while they ran together. The fluttering feeling of that sweet, close moment only makes her cry harder. She is angry that he made her fall for when he only wanted to stay friends. He had rejected her love letter, but continued to care for her, completely trampling on her feelings. Dong-sung paces anxiously, checking his phone. He has sent multiple messages, but In-ah is giving him the silent treatment. It is obvious she is furious. He tries calling, but she ignores him. A classmate mentions that In-ah knew about his fear of ghosts, but dressed up to scare him anyway. When Dong-sung approaches her at school to ask why she is ignoring his calls, she coldly tells him to stay away. He admits he is worried about looking pathetic, joking that he might have to drop out. Suddenly, he remembers something crucial. The cart In-ah used to drag him did not make a creaking sound. That meant the creepy noise he heard came from somewhere else entirely, adding fuel to the fire. In-ah warns him that anyone who sees the ghost lady ends up in the hospital. She tells him to be especially careful around the stairs and windows. Dong-sung starts to suspect something real is going on, though he cannot prove it yet. Meanwhile, an investigation team forms, led by Tae-wang. In-ah asks Dong-sung if he is scared, but his pride prevents him from admitting it. However, a sudden lightning strike sends him tumbling to the floor. To make matters worse, his stomach drops, and he desperately needs the restroom. None of the guys want to escort him. In-ah offers to go, but he stubbornly refuses, preferring to go alone rather than accept her help. She teases him, leaving him to navigate the dark halls by himself. While in the restroom, he suddenly hears a dragging sound nearby. Remembering In-ah said the ghost does not target guys, he gathers his courage and steps out. He walks down the hall, muttering to himself that there is nothing to fear. A noise echoes behind him, but when he turns, the hallway is empty. He glances at the window, just as a flash of lightning illuminates a dark, terrifying silhouette. Without a second thought, Dong-sung runs for his life. Back in the classroom, In-ah is pacing nervously. Dong-sung has been gone too long. Despite their constant bickering, she genuinely cares for him. Just as she gets up to go look for him, the door bursts open. Dong-sung stumbles in, pale as a sheet, and faints right into her arms. When he comes to, he realizes she's been crying again. He feels frustrated, wondering why he keeps passing out and showing his weakest side to her. Later, his friends ask why he rejected her feelings in the first place. He finally confesses the truth. He is terrified that if they date and break up, they can never go back to being friends. Above all, he is afraid of losing her from his life. Zihao asks him why he risked his life to go back for a simple phone. Dong-sung unlocks his screen, revealing a candid photo of In-ah. He admits he loves her chubby cheeks and that she is exactly his type. His friends are completely stunned. They urge him to stop wasting time, apologize to her, and confess his feelings. Dong-sung hesitates, insisting the timing is not right. Downstairs, In-ah is still waiting for him. Once she sees he is okay, she breathes a sigh of relief. She beats herself up, thinking her prank caused his severe trauma and anxiety. The guys reassure her that he will be fine. A teacher steps in, reminding everyone to stop obsessing over baseless rumors and focus on their studies. Even with her friends comforting her, In-ah cannot shake her guilt. On another rainy day, In-ah decides to investigate the dark meeting room herself. She walks slowly down the corridor. Strange noises echo around her, and that familiar creaking sound returns. She reaches the exact spot where Dong-sung saw the shadow. Suddenly, two hands reach out from the dark, and In-ah vanishes. Downstairs, the group is waiting anxiously. Realizing she is gone, Dong-sung ignores his terror and charges upstairs. Shaking with fear, he forces himself to keep moving. He follows the haunting sound of a piano to a closed door. Pushing it open, he sees In-ah sitting next to a fierce-looking old woman dressed entirely in white, her hair stark silver. The sheer terror is too much, and Dong-sung faints yet again. When he regains consciousness, he is shocked to find the terrifying old woman gently holding his hand. A teacher sitting nearby explains that this woman is actually his mother, allowing Dong-sung to finally relax. The old woman clutches his hand tightly, apologizing to him. him. Feeling a wave of empathy, Dong-sung places his hand over her trembling fingers. Noticing the immense tenderness in her eyes, the teacher shares her tragic story. This school was where she met her first love, a man who taught her how to play romantic piano melodies. They fell in love and were engaged, but her cruel stepmother forced her to marry a wealthy, divorced man. The young lovers planned to elope, but she could not bring herself to abandon her younger siblings. Heartbroken, her first love returned to his hometown, where he tragically died in an explosion. She spent her entire life blaming herself for his death. Now suffering from dementia, her memories of him have grown stronger, drawing her back to the school she visits more frequently now because Dong-sung bears a striking resemblance to her lost love. She still carries the exact bag she packed for their failed elopement all those years ago. Hearing her heartbreaking story leaves everyone in the room deeply moved. Later, Ina wonders aloud how different things would be if the old woman had just been a little braver. She thanks Dong-sung for risking his life to find her. They walk downstairs together but linger outside, neither wanting to say goodbye. Dong-sung breaks the silence, telling her he never thought of her as a joke or someone easy to push around. Ina demands to know why he treated her so well if he did not like her. Panicking, he makes up a lame excuse about their personality types and zodiac signs being incompatible. Deeply hurt, Ina asks why he did not just cut ties instead of constantly bothering her, giving her false hope only to crush it. Dong-sung softly admits he just wanted her attention and could not stand being ignored. She accuses him of being selfish and only caring about his own feelings. Ina is still sulking in her room when she hears a knock at the door. It is Dong-sung. He finally drops his guard and lists all the little moments he cherished with her, from the cute way she applied her face cream to the time they hid behind the door together. He admits that when their hands touched, he thought his heart was going to explode. The truth was, he liked her so much that he was paralyzed by the fear of losing her. If a romantic relationship failed, he would rather endure the pain of just being friends than risk losing her entirely. Taking a deep breath, he officially asks her out on a date. Without hesitation, she happily agrees. Overjoyed, he screams out into the night, claiming she is finally his. They share a bright, happy laugh. The story ends here, and we will see you in the next recap video.